What'd you pull, Josh? What account are you talking about? I'm gonna. The fact that you're so excited, it's got to be a Newt. Wixwell, let's go. That's awesome. Probably one of the better starter options, to be honest. Fucking massive shields and guaranteed clan boss effectiveness. That's awesome. Every other account pulled epics with my sacred for hard camp. You were watching my Wixwell clan boss right before I went live. That's awesome. I'm really proud of that video. That video was one of the first ones that really helped grow my account. All right. Just getting logged into the account. What's up, Grizzly? There you are. You got Eris to 60 and almost mastered. Every other champ speed is already set. You're still trying to build that Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss team on main, but don't have bright gear for the DPS to be 277. Yeah, that's a hard speed to hit. It's okay, though, if you need to go less than optimal, right? So if you need to go something like crit rate on the gloves and maybe not as much crit damage as you would want, but to be able to hit those speeds is more important. And then you, as you get better gear, you can tweak it and get it better, but it's going to have the consistency that you want. No, I remember doing the takeover. I knew what you were. I figured I gave you an unkillable team or something. My memory's bad, but it's not that bad. All right, so we're logging into the account right now. Just taking a minute here. All right. Now, can you remind me, please, Grizzly, if there are any particular areas that you would like me to kind of focus on for you? Or you just kind of want like a general look or like a general takeover here? If you see me clicking on random things, it's me trying to get make sure my sound is working properly. He apparently, I haven't watched the videos yet, but his buff is supposed to be pretty good. Let's see, how old of an account is this? Oh yeah, you're deep in there. Hydra is for sure my main weakest point. Okay, we'll take a look at that. Um, okay. Well, let's take a look. All right. So, first I'm gonna just take a look at roughly at your account here. We've got Harima here. All right. Well, I like seeing speed on the boots. We have another nuker here. Okay. Okay. All right, I can already see some pretty major issues with your account right now. I do, okay. So, we're going to start, right out the gate, we're going to start with gearing. Let me take a look at your newt. Okay. All right, you are overemphasizing accuracy chests by quite a bit here. So you have man, your roster is very stacked, by the way. I bet you. Okay, there we go. I like to see that. That's much better. Okay, yeah, you gotta level your Rotos. I'm gonna call that out right now. Oh man, what a great roster! Really, really great roster. You've got two of the faction Unity champions. That's awesome. Your roster is really, really good. I am going to tell you right away where you're making just some really, really big mistakes. And you're prioritizing accuracy, and you're doing it even on champions that don't need it. So I'm going to go into this kit a little bit here for you, okay? So, Rathalos places 1 debuff. Decreased defense on the A1. If the target is a boss, this debuff cannot be resisted. Where else are you using Rathalos and wanting to land decreased defense that is not a boss? This is a single target hit. You have decreased defense champions with AoE decreased defenses, right? I know I saw um, several of them. I saw Ugo, right? I saw Deacon, right? You do not need your Rathalos to land decreased defense on his A1. There's no scenario in which you want him to land that other than a boss fight. And that boss fight, he is unresistible. He needs 0 accuracy on him, plain and simple, right? So you're prioritizing accuracy. What's going on, SoCal and Peckham? How you guys doing? You're prioritizing accuracy on a champion that does not need accuracy, and then at the sacrifice of attack percent. Also, not even fully crit capped. Only my clan boss is tuned. Everything else is free to mess with. Go to my reward and turn on gear cost reduction. No, so let me. I forgot to do my disclaimer. So this is kind of my disclaimer that I do before account takeovers. A lot of people, when they do an account takeover, what they want is someone to come in, rebuild all their champions, rebuild their teams, and then here you go. But the reality, so there's 2 things. One, I don't think that's what people actually want, and the reason I say that is because now what, right? You have all the teams built. Like, what if I gave you 30-second farms on hard stage 10 for everything in your game, and I gave you a perfect clan boss team and then a nightmare Hydra team that does 100 million, right? And all of that. If I took 8 hours and did that all across your account, now what are you going to do with all those changes? How does that? Now you've just hit play. That's your game now. And so for me, that would ruin Raid Shadow Legends for me. And that's not what I am looking to do, and that's not how I do account takeovers. My account takeovers are intended to be where I coach, I give advice, I give my opinion. This is mostly my opinion. I want to be clear about that. I am not the most knowledgeable Raid Shadow Legends content creator out there, but I do feel like I am a student of the game, and I'm always learning, and when there's stuff I don't know, I have people I reach out to. So that is the whole point of the account takeover. And so the goal is to help give you the mindset so that when you're approaching these challenges, you're going to think about them a little bit differently. Okay? So that's why right out the gate, why I'm focusing on Rathalos. You're not using Rathalos a lot. That's totally fine. I don't use Rathalos a lot anymore. However, when I see that a champion is built a certain way, I want to make sure that we bring up that and we say, okay, accuracy is important, but not on this champion, right? And then we can start to discuss other champions in that same vein. And so I'm going to bring up your Septimus here. Now, your Septimus is a boss enemy max HP nuker, right? Full permission to try out. Yeah, anytime I feel like I'm doing something that I don't think you'd be comfortable with, I always clarify beforehand. That's how I like to do my account. That's why I only do them live. I don't do them recorded or anything like that. I prefer to do them live so I can have communications with the person and make sure that I'm not fiddling in their account in a way that they would not be happy with. So let's talk Septimus here. And again, I'm only bringing up Septimus because of the type of champion that he is, and we're going to kind of continue to go on from there. Now, Septimus's main damage ability is an enemy max HP nuke, right? Now, you may be using him in other areas of the game. Totally fine, totally possible. But the reality is he's kind of been power crept as an enemy max HP nuker by Newt here. But Septimus is +1, which, by the way, I do want to point out very quickly that... and maybe, let's check real quick, because I see Brachus is +2. So for Skinwalkers, okay, yeah. So if you think about all the Skinwalkers that you have on the roster, your Nishak, your Gwendolyn, your Wukong, right? Those are the ones that are more meta right now, more usable. That that 10% extra HP is probably better for you than a +2 Brachus. And you may have already learned that. This could have been a decision you made a very long time ago. I am not criticizing you for past decisions. I just want to make sure that I mention it and respond to that so that I don't ignore something and then you continue to repeat that mistake. So the rule of thumb is always to make sure that you're doing Faction Guardians first and then empowering after you finish the Faction Guardians. Now, there are, in some cases, exceptions, but for the most part, that is the rule. So, you have a better enemy max HP nuker in Newt now. But again, I'm noticing some trends here. And so, we have accuracy on the chest. Now, my guess is that you did accuracy on the chest because you probably are not able to hit the accuracy requirement that you're looking for when doing Fire Knight or something related to that, right? The problem is that it's making your Newt far more squishier than he should be, quite frankly. And so I like the rest of your build. You have crit damage on the gloves. You have crit damage on the amulet. I like both of those. I as well would go accuracy on the banner. However, I would go defense % on the chest. When for champions that you're doing accuracy on, ideally, I only like to see that if you need to go up into the 500s of accuracy. And I'm going to show you why in a second. So your accuracy is kind of the lowest part where you've prioritized the spending. I'm going to swap over. So I have 3 accounts pulled up. This is my free to play and this is my main account. Now I like to use these as examples to kind of compare and contrast. Now you're going to see, look at the priorities for me, right? Accuracy, right? Now again, you've been playing for a very long time. This is not something that you can go back and undo, right? And you're not wrong for going the route that you did. But I gain 80 accuracy on all of my Magic champions just by logging into the game, right? Those are really big gains, and you want to make sure that you're prioritizing accuracy for your champions when you can, because accuracy is a hard thing to hit. Now, you heard me mention 500 accuracy. That's a crazy amount of accuracy. Who would need accuracy that high? Well, my Geomancer used to need it for Iron Twins. Where in the game do you need extremely high accuracy? And I'm talking over 400 accuracy. Pretty much the highest difficulties of certain bosses and arena. So if we look at my Newt is 197 speed, 100% crit rate, 225% crit damage, 4,600 defense, and 54,000 HP. When we go back over to your Newt, and kind of compare the stats a little bit. I like your speed at 223, right? So you are faster than my Newt. 100% crit rate, 196% crit damage. Pretty comparable. 241 accuracy. I'm 334 accuracy. I do not have an accuracy chest on my Newt, but I did get the accuracy roll, right? And so I'm also trying to get the crit damage. Oh, I did get the crit damage. Let me go ahead and upgrade that, by the way, because I've started farming him. So, and then accuracy banner. But you'll notice I went stats over sets here, right? There's no specific 2-piece set at all in this combination. But crit rate, crit damage, speed, accuracy. Crit rate, crit damage, right? Accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, HP, accuracy, right? So accuracy and speed on this particular one with crit rate. Defense %, accuracy, speed, crit rate, right? When we go to your pieces on Newt, we've got speed, crit rate, crit damage, attack %. Speed, and I get why you're going speed, because you're tuning him for something specific, which I think is a mistake. We'll talk about that in a second. Speed, crit rate, but I don't see accuracy on these pieces, and I don't see defense. And you are then making up for it with an accuracy percent chest. But if you just had an accuracy roll, even if it's not boosted, right? This accuracy roll got no rolls into it. 9 plus 7. That's still a bunch, right? That's 16 accuracy. Yeah, that's 16 accuracy that I have, and that's not even a good piece. And so you're prioritizing the wrong thing. Not to mention, if you're using him only in Clan Boss and you're like maybe worried about the weaken and the decrease attack, which is the only debuffs that can land from this champion in Clan Boss, you are far, I think, too high on. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the accuracy minimums are on Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. Regardless, Newt is not a Clan Boss champion. Exactly. And I agree with Peckham's suggestion here is that if you can try and find, like, if you could find another piece of accuracy gear in one of these slots, you might have a potentially good build. Like, this helmet is instantly replaceable. Instantly replaceable. And what I want you to understand is, why is this helmet replaceable? There's no crit rate. There's no crit damage. There's a little bit of speed, right? And no accuracy. Now, you mentioned him being speed tuned for Clan Boss, and you saw in the chat where Vodka, and I agree completely, Newt is not a Clan Boss nuker. He may seem like that because he does enemy max HP, but the problem is enemy max HP has a cap. And furthermore, Newt is so essential to everywhere else in the game that you are holding him hostage at a very specific speed and at very specific stats. If you have a Newt that you can flex, so I swapped over to my account right now. Let's say that to fit into some type of tune, let's say my Sand Devil team was failing and I needed him to be 5 speeds slower. Well, I find a piece that seems like one I could reasonably replace that has a little bit of speed on it, right? And then I swap that out. And it's a bad example, reducing speed or whatever. Maybe I needed more speed, and so I put better boots on him, right? And get more speed out of him. I have that flexibility because he is not locked into any other commitments like a Clan Boss team. And so it's not just that I think there are champions that are better at Clan Boss than Newt. It's also because Newt is so important everywhere else that you're holding him hostage in one area, right? I made this mistake. So on my main account, we'll swap over to that real quick. So this is my main account. And on my main account, in my unkillable team, my DPS was Mishinaki. He was amazing. He brought my decreased defense and my decreased attack. He brought a free hit frequently throughout the fight and HP burn. He was the best DPS that I had on my account at the time. But why did I stop using him for a epic? I swapped him out for an epic. I swapped him out for Farrakhan the Fat because the required speed was 170 for my unkillable team that I built. So my Mishinaki, who was one of the best champions on my account, was stuck at 170 speed. I'm using him in Hydra. He barely gets one turn per 4 heads, right? Like, that's too slow. And so I needed to speed him up. And therefore I took him out of the Clan Boss team so I could use him in other areas of the game. Because limiting a champion to such slow or even such high speeds can drastically impact your overall damage output from that champion. And so because of that mistake, that's one of those things that I really try to hone in on and make sure that you are thinking about that and looking at that and what champion you really want to be in there. Furthermore, I just made a Wixwell team and on my main account. On that Wixwell team, my audio cut again. Okay. I think it's still cut, but whatever. On that Wixwell team, I used Rathalos and Ninja. This is not particularly a good combo. I'm not trying to give you a combo to use there. What I'm indicating to you is I don't use Wixwell anywhere, and at present, I don't use Ninja. I have plans for him, but we're not there yet. So these are temporary spots, but I don't care what their stats are and speeds are for that particular team, and they're champions that can get the job done, and I don't have to worry about it, but I don't use them anywhere else currently in the game. And so you might want to consider that when you're building your clan boss team. At the time, he was my hardest hitter next to Geo. Then Newt got nerfed. What do you mean Newt got nerfed? Newt never got nerfed. I don't know where you're coming from saying Newt got nerfed. But I was so low on speed for my Bat Eater team, had to pull everything together, but I am following what you're throwing down. Yeah, I'm not aware of any nerfs for Newt, so I don't know what that's about, but I'm glad that you're picking up what I'm putting down. That's the important part. And like 36 HP is pretty low. I mean, I almost have 36 HP just in bonus stats on him. Right? And 3,000 defense on him when I'm boosting his defense by 3,000. That's your total defense on him. Right? And so I'm just trying to bring these things to light, make sure that we're prioritizing main stats on chests when possible. And then furthermore, this kind of continues with Harima. Now, what's very interesting about your build with Harima is that you've gone accuracy on the chest for Harima, and yet no accuracy on the banner, because you don't have it. Obviously, right? Now, I've rebuilt my Harima a few different times. We're back on my main account, and I'm going to keep differentiating that, making sure it's clear to you guys. You'll see I'm running her in lethal. Her accuracy is very, very low. I'm using her as a nuker. Now, if you want to use her for her provoke, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It's not how I would use her, but remember, this debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the target champion is from Demon Spawn, right? So that's kind of what I'm counting on, is she's a really good counter to Demon Spawn. His enemy max, he got... No. You're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding. I think you're misrepresenting by using the word nerf. Enemy max HP damage on clan boss has had bosses have limits on enemy max HP damage. This is not a clan boss thing. This is not a nerf that was applied to Newt. This is a nerf that was applied to enemy max HP damage before Newt came out. This was just a thing. So when you go into the dungeons and you go to normal and you go to stage 20, you look at the boss guide, okay? Almighty immunity. Immune to stun, freeze, sleep, blah, blah, blah. HP exchange effects, HP balancing effects, okay? That's what you get at stage 20. When you go to stage 21, Almighty Strength. Damage from skills that scale based on enemy max HP cannot exceed 10% of the boss's max HP when attacking the boss. So you have a 10% limit now that you cannot hit greater than 10%. Then furthermore, when you go into hard and you go down to stage 9, that still applies. Almighty Strength. 10%. So the most damage that Newt could theoretically do in one of his A3s is 30% of the boss's health. What's up, Skydoodle? So I'm gonna be real with you, and I got Newt in the fusion. You're saying that there was like a 4-month time frame where he was broken or something. I don't remember that. It's entirely possible that I missed something like that. I don't think I was doing content creation when that happened, but I'm not familiar with Newt in particular ever getting nerfed. But this applies. This rule applies for all enemy max HP hitters. Now, do we have a key? We do have a key. Perfect. So when I come in here and I go to use a key, and we go to boss guide, Infernal Resilience decreases the damage the Demon Lord receives from HP burn and poison debuffs, as well as skills that inflict damage based on enemy max HP. Infernal Resilience has always been a thing. And he's also immune to stun, freeze, sleep, and decreased speed as well, and HP destruction effects, right? So this is why enemy max HP champions only do so much. This is also why HP burns and poisons only do so much. They have a flat rate. I want to say it's 75,000 damage is what you get from HP burns. And I think the big versions of poisons is maybe 25,000. I think I'm wrong about that one. But yeah, there are caps on all of the damage that you can do to it's 50k for the big poisons to the clan boss. And so it's important to understand that. And this goes a step further. This also applies on Hydra. So when you're doing damage on Hydra, if we say battle, we go to boss guide. So Almighty Decay. I think it's different. Yeah, it is. But you'll see they all have damage from skills that scale based on enemy max HP can not exceed 10% of the head's max HP. So this is what the current complaint is versus Trunda and Acrizia. Acrizia was, everybody wanted Acrizia to be nerfed many months ago before the Trunda team revealed itself. Well, okay, I won't say that because the Trunda team may have existed and no one cared because we weren't chasing clan Hydra damage. Now we are because of Hydra Clash. Acrizia has a limit on the damage that she can do. Trunda does not. And that's why Trunda's... I mean, there are other reasons specifically why Trunda in particular does crazy damage. But the point that I'm specifically making is that she can just go crazy where Acrizia has limits, right? Now, those potentially getting nerfed and all those things, we're not here to talk about those things, but I just want you to understand that when it comes to enemy max HP nukers, they have their limits within the game. Clan Boss in particular can take so much more damage from other effects that bringing an enemy max HP nuker is usually less damage than what you can get from many other champions. I'm pretty sure that my Mishinaki could have done more damage than Newt could have when I first pulled him. And so I just want to make sure, you know, that we are clarifying those concepts a little bit, and that you're understanding enemy max HP, while good and still used today, and you know, for teams in Hydra, has its limits, and it's important, very very important that we know and understand those limits. But when you're building enemy max HP nukers, it's also important that the main stat doesn't matter. Right? Because their damage is based on enemy max HP. Yeah, they get a little bit from attack, sure. But the reality is that the big bulk of the damage is from that. And because there's a limit, sorry, let me back up a little bit because I kind of contradicted myself. That's not necessarily what I'm saying, and I'm going to answer that in a minute. Let me finish my thought real quick. Because there's a cap to the enemy max HP damage, and you're going to hit that cap just based off of doing their enemy max HP, going attack main stat, it doesn't really make as much sense. Now, Septimus I don't have, so maybe it makes sense for this A1 in some version of the game that I'm unfamiliar with. But I just want to be clear that generally speaking, you're not going to, because there's a cap on the damage when it comes to bosses, you don't really need that. Like my Cold Hearts, this is my main account, but like my Cold Hearts are in survivability, right? Defense percent, HP percent chests, because they just need to be, they're super squishy. Yeah, so Vodka here, his Septimus has flat stack attack chest, maybe flat HP, he doesn't know, but it just doesn't matter. And this again carries over to enemy max HP. What's great about Newt is because he's defense based anyways, and he does have other abilities that can hit reasonable. I mean, not really, but they're not crazy, but they hit well. You can get defense percent on him and be totally fine, right? Gotcha. Vodka uses him in Minnow. So back to the accuracy portion of this. Harima is a very, very good nuker. She's a defense-based nuker, and I would use a defense percent chest on her. I only have her on my main account, and so I know I showed you the main account build earlier. Obviously, lethal gear, this is not something that necessarily you need to have on your account, but you'll see that like I'm running very, very low accuracy on her. That could be a mistake. I'm sure somebody in the comments may correct me on that, but I'm going for her as a nuker and have built her in such a way. And I do think that she will excel at it for you in that regard. But she also has the passive, which is really good. Reducing ignore defense effects is very, very strong. Preventing demon spawns from critting, right? That's going to counter Kandra Fawns, Hefrax, other nukers, right? So the accuracy part of the kit is really only to land the provoke on everybody. If that's what you want her for, okay. I think it's maybe a small misuse of her kit, but again, this is your account, and I think it would be fine. I would recommend as a nuker, but if that's what you want, if you want her for crowd control, I'm gonna tell you right now though, if you have Odin and you're using him in arena, you do not need the provoke of a Harima, and you would be better suited to use her nuke capabilities because Odin is going to keep them stunned, right? At least for one turn. I know Gurgo just got buffed, but again, accuracy here. I know he just got buffed, so I'm not sure if there's anything in his kit about landing the freeze. But yeah, if you're trying to land the freeze, you probably want accuracy in his kit. What's up, JJ? Yeah, I was gonna say the recommendation for clan boss is with ninja. If you're running a speed tuned team, it's much harder to tune around ninja unless someone else has done the work for you. There are some teams that are listed that have ninja as the nuker. I think those are fine, but if you're building your own team and you just try to throw ninja in at a set speed, he gives himself turn meter on the A1, and it's not always going to yield the results that you want. I think somebody that would be a good one to consider for I'm going to include all your legendaries here, but if you're looking for a damage dealer in clan boss, Ellen Arl might be okay. You've got poisons and burns on her. I know I always get yelled at for vodka whenever I mention Ellen Arl, but to me she makes sense to be used in clan boss. You could also improve your unkillable team, by the way, because you have Fushan, and you could go Myth Fu, which is a what is the clan boss team that you're using? Let's take a look. Is this your actual clan boss team, or is this like a test thing? I think this must just be a test thing, right? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to assume this is your clan boss team because you said Newt was in your clan boss team. So this kind of makes sense. I'm going to tell you straight up, you have a better team. It's called Myth Fu. Now, the speeds on Demitha are a little bit crazy, but this is a team that both... I know Vodka ran it for a while. I ran it for a while. I don't have a key to show it to you, so I'm just going to have to look it up on Deadwood Jedi. And so I saw you had Demitha, and I see that you have Fushan. And so you can see the speeds right here on the screen. Make sure I have the chat up. Give me just a moment to get my chat back working. Yeah. So the speeds are a little bit more achievable. It's very, very consistent. Now, yes, you need 290 speed on Demitha, but the great thing about this is that Fushan Seeker, who you already know how good Seeker is, how hard he can hit, and then you can use any DPS that you want at really easy speeds. So if all you have to do is hit 170 speed and crank up the crit damage, right, on them, you're going to have a pretty easy time. And this is the team I talked about where I had Mishinaki in this DPS slot. You could potentially not use Mishinaki, but you could put somebody else in this DPS slot that's going to deliver a very, very good hit. Now, you can read all about this, but it's called Myth Fu, right? Right here, you can see the name of it. And a very, very popular team. Eris, you can farm her. If you don't have her, you can farm her from the campaign. You have Demitha, you have Fushan, and you have Seeker. So there you go. Thumbs up. I do have a question about the clan boss tune you gave me to build when you have time. I don't know how to AI it, even though I followed how their turns start. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Not a second. Lots of seconds. Okay, so the reason I recommend this team is because I built it. So just plain and simple, I'm familiar with it. I know how easy it was for me to build. The speeds are pretty easy to hit, with the exception being Demitha. I hit my speeds on my main account on Eris. I still have her built because I think I took some gear off of her maybe. Let me see if I can find her. There she is. Nope, all her gear on her. So you'll notice she's in a toxic set. So I was able to hit those speeds. The biggest secret for you is Lore of Steel. You want to make sure that you've got Lore of Steel on your champions. That's going to help you hit those speeds. And then just good speed rolls. Now, look, yeah, good gear, but still 5-star boots, right? No, again, when you're building speed champions, like you're doing Demitha and Eris, which are very high speed, she has 0 crit rate, right? And therefore I put her in attack neck because she's never going to crit, so giving her more crit damage doesn't benefit me. So I give her attack, right? I don't do crit rate on the gauntlets. I do toxic that has a double speed roll, right? What's the priority here, right? I want the speed is number 1. Toxic set is number 2. Can I get the speeds in toxic set? Yes, I can. I will do so. If I can't, I won't. I'll just make sure she's fast enough. My Demitha, who I will find eventually by cheating. So for Demitha, you'll see I've taken a lot of her gear off of her now, right? She was hoarding a lot of my best speed gear. You'll see speed boots, right? 6-star speed boots. So she was hoarding a lot of my top speed gear for quite a while. But yes, you'll triple roll speed resistance banner, right? Resistance doesn't do anything for me against clan boss, but it gave me more speed for Demitha. And that's what it's prioritizing. Holy crap. Hey, what's up, Drock? Hey, so, oh my god, hey, what's up? So Drock just raided me over on Twitch, guys. Um, dude, thank you so much, man. What is up, dude? So, okay, well, we're just proving a point real quick. I was in your chat the other day talking with you, Drock, and one of my clanmates and I were going back and forth if you knew who I was, and that if you were just being, oh, hey, what's up, man? When I said hi, that proves it. I guess Skydoodle, you were right, man. Well, hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody to the stream. Just doing a takeover today, but thank you so much. Yeah, I just started streaming on Twitch again. I'm multi-streaming. I've been streaming on YouTube for a while, and now I'm started multi-streaming. So I know you just said you did the yeah exactly. Yep, did the Hell Hades challenge. Yeah, nah. Yeah, no, that's yep. I did do the challenge. I was terrible at it. I gave up very very early on, but I definitely tried my best. Wow, thank you so much. Huge fan, by the way. I didn't get a chance to mention that, but my wife, in particular, loves it when you say the "suck 'em dry" when you talk about Rhodos. So, oh yeah, yeah. Kevin. Thank you guys for all the follows and everything. I really appreciate it. We are. It does need to be a T-shirt. Absolutely. We're doing an account takeover right now. The viewer in question is over on my YouTube at the moment. But yeah, thank you so much for the takeover. God, man, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm so I'm so blown away right now. I'm literally speechless. Kevin. Nice, man. We'll keep doing the takeover. Don't let me stop you from rocking. I appreciate it, man. I really, really do. Yeah, if you ever want to hit me up off a stream, I can compose myself a little bit better. I still feel like I'm the new kid at the table, the new kid at the school. So, I this is why my friend had to convince me that you knew who I was from the thing. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say right now, but we're gonna go back to the takeover so I can stop embarrassing myself. Yeah. All right. So what we were just kind of talking about, kind of the Harima build. Kevin. In fact, while we're talking about it, I would definitely consider taking a look at Drock, who is a primarily like a big PvP guy, and I've learned. In fact, I built my Rhodos on my main account after he made a particular video about Rhodos and Merciless. And I would recommend, I bet you he has some advice or builds on Harima there that will be very, very beneficial to you because I don't think accuracy on the chest is necessarily the play, depending on how you're trying to use her. And so, but let's keep going. Let's kind of talk a little bit more. Well, we can move into Hydra, I think, now. What do you do for Arena while we're talking about it real quick? So you're gold 5. What is your Arena team? You started using Gergo. Okay. I don't really see a reason for Godseeker. Do you have Arbiter? Fast and strong, definitely no accuracy, at least at high level. Stone Skin and Savage if you can manage. Otherwise, Savage is the play. Yeah. And I agree with that. I need to get Stone Skin working on mine. Mine's just in lethal at the moment. But um probably my weakest area is arena. I'm still only silver in tag team arena. I need to get that fixed at some point. But um let's so I mean, now I remember. I was trying to see if you had Arbiter. Oh, we don't have Arbiter yet. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I would. Oh, you just need to fuse Justiciar and then keep moving. By the way, this is kind of early on in the Arbiter fusion. I would get this done when you have a chance. Go ahead and knock it out. Because there's a lot more missions to go and a lot more resources behind there. And your account is very, very old. Like, you have a very deep roster, a very strong account. You even have a Rhodos who, since putting him in Merciless, has really become one of my favorite PvP champions. And you've got 2 faction unity champions, right? But I would definitely get that Arbiter built for Arena. I'm gonna go ahead, and I see this a lot when I do takeovers and we talk about like lower level Arena. My guess is you probably have Godseeker as like a reviver in here. Oh, I see why you're doing it. You're doing it because of all void. You don't necessarily have to go all void, right? So on my free to play, I pulled Odin. Or not pulled, I won Odin in the champion chase. And the teams that I use him on, I basically use him to speed up my Arbiter. I do have a Georgid that I need to rebuild, that I would probably prefer to put on the team, but the point that I'm kind of trying to make here is it's okay to not use like an all void team with Odin. But if you're doing a go first team, I don't really see how Godseeker is going to help that go first team. Like, Tuanorok makes sense because I think she gives turn meter, or at least she gives increased speed. That's right. But whoever your nuker is, I would probably, Gurgo is your nuker. I would probably swap out another nuker, and they don't have to be void necessarily. Yeah, I just saw. I think he released a video today about Gurgo, right? Gurgo is a god. Yeah, I have it queued up. It's one of the ones I'm gonna watch. I just didn't get to it after work today, so definitely gonna take a look at that later. But and just because you have Odin and just because he's really good, I don't even think that you kind of have to go this route either. Yeah, you've got Kymar. You already have a great aura lead that gives you really good crowd control. Let me see if I can kind of show you a concept. It's really hard to even think about what I would do without Arbiter, but there's a few different kinds of teams that you can make. This was to complete a quest. Let me go ahead and put my team in here. Now, obviously, you don't have Armands. This is redundant. I don't even think I really need Armands in this. I could probably get away with something like Rabbit or even Apothecary or somebody just to give me turn meter fill that's really fast. But we're just going to use this team for now, just to kind of show you the idea of a go first team. Gurgo has a speed aura. Yeah, it's still, if he's using it with Odin though, it's still less because Odin's is 40. But you could use Gurgo's aura by itself, right? And so we need to figure out who your nuker is too, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I want to just show you kind of the concept here, and I might even lose this speed battle, which is fine. Okay, so I win the speed battle. So what's great about Arbiter, she gives my whole team turn meter and my nuker got increased attack. That's, I mean, and she's super fast. that's pretty much Arbiter in a nutshell. Turn meter, increase attack, and there you go, right? Now again, I mentioned this. This is redundancy, right? Like Odin stuns them already. I don't really need Armands. Yes, I'm showing him a couple concepts, but we can get to Harima in a bit. And then boom. So the whole concept of this team is to win outright. So if you're gonna put a speed or a lead kind of in your team, kind of when we're talking like the lower levels of gold, right? You want to win this before you would ever need Godseeker to do anything for you, right? Godseeker is a failsafe, but if you're building your team as a go first team, it's kind of unnecessary to use her. Now, another option for a team is a go second team. So this is my main go second team. And like, just to kind of not brag, but that's what I did all these battles with. I didn't even try this battle because I saw Harima. This particular team is weak to Harima, but it's a go second team where the concept of this is basically that I'm going to let them go first, survive, and then do a bunch of damage. Now, it's kind of an older team. I'm not recommending you build this or anything, but you will kind of see how Harima works here. So, actually, I went first still. But we're going to, let's see, I'll do the A3 here. Now, it's a slower concept. It's not a speed farming team like the Arbiter team was. But I basically want them to hit me, right? Because, and it's niche because of Mortu Macabre and everything, but the whole concept here is everyone is slow except for Pythion, but usually I would expect their speeds to be even faster than what my Pythion is. But you'll see that I'm very tanky. I'm very hard to kill. These are the teams where you have revivers. These are the teams. Look at the resistance there, right? I just resisted a Mithrala whose whole kit is around high accuracy, right? And so that's the concept of this team. And it takes a longer time to win. I'm going to put it on auto because it's taking too long. But I'm basically trying to get hits, and I'm basically trying to proc Mortu Macabre until I can build a better Harima. And that's more of a gear limitation on my account. And I might even lose this fight, right? But I think the really important message I'm trying to show you is there's different concepts of teams. When you start blending teams together, you're doing a lot of things, but you're taking these fights and you're kind of extending them out. And it's not always the right choice. Like, sure, you may win some fights that you were gonna lose anyways. You might steal some wins, but if it took you 10 minutes to steal that win in this long slugfest drawn out thing, it's not the right team, you know? And so you might want to consider something that's more of a speed based team. And so one example of that, and it's kind of hard to do because Arbiter is like my go-to for speed teams, but I would even do something as simple as, since we're using Gurgo, right, 30% aura, I'm fine continuing to... The reason I'm swapping to Gurgo here is because your activator for the speed team is going to be a little bit different. Because I know you have a Deacon. Oh, he's only 50. Okay, shoot. I don't know what either of these guys do off the top of my head, so I gotta refresh my memory here. There we go. We've got Gorgorab, and he's 60. Okay. So Gorgorab is a mini Arbiter. Turn meter fill by 15%, and the big version of increase attack. Where did he go? And you'll see he also has a speed aura, but this one's faster. So you could do Gorgorab into... I didn't mean to take Odin out of that. So I still think Odin is great as a decreased defense champion and a stunner. And you can use him as that, right? So Gorgorab into this. And then whoever your nuker is. That could be Kandafron. That could be Sun Wukong. By the way, I think Sun Wukong is probably the better choice. That could be Rhodos. Although I don't know that Rhodos works as well in Go First teams. I've never really used him in that way. But he would be an option. You could go Queen Eva. Queen Eva is really good. She has block revive on her single target hit and has some AoE hits, I think, in there. But you have a lot of really, really good nukers on the account here. I personally would go Sun Wukong because he's just so good. So the reason we're not going to use Odin's Aura is because the only turn meter that he's boosting is Gurgos. Because it's Void Ally only. Now, if we had like a whole team of Void Allies, like we could do this. Madame Ceres, maybe even Seer. But we don't really have the buffs, right? So maybe take out Madame Seer. We don't need her. We could still use Gorgrab, but Gorgrab doesn't get the speed aura boost if we're using him. And so that's one of the reasons that I chose to take away from Odin's aura and just use him as a decreased defense. Genbo, do I see a Genbo? Oh, Genbo, yeah, now we're talking. Now we're really talking. If you get Arbiter, this is a team, right? You've got Odin into your Arbiter, right? Well, not even, sorry, your Arbiter would go first. Odin would do your decreased defense and a stun. Gurgo for damage, and then Genbo for damage. And you'll notice that on my speed team that I showed you before, in fact, we'll use my free-to-play account because that's my only team on the free-to-play is a speed team. And I am using Odin's Aura to speed my Arbiter, but everyone else is kind of slow, right? Or not getting the benefit of it. Rhonda is a great nuker as well. Hold on, I don't want him to sheep, and he's going to sheep. But you'll see that I'm using one nuker, and I just wipe their whole team, right? This is a speed team. That nuker is in Savage. That nuker is very well built for damage, and I don't think that your account might be there yet, just based on a lot of what we've seen so far. Now, I haven't looked at your gear set. I haven't looked to see how much Savage gear you have. And I want to, yeah, we have 2 pieces of Savage gear, right? So we're not there gear-wise. And exactly. So Fox mode here is literally listing off my previous arena team before I got Odin, and it's still saved in here. New team 4, right here. This is my main team, right? Arbiter into Deacon, who's my decreased defense and turn meter manipulator, into Armands, who's my crowd controller, and then my nuker is Wukong. And Wukong just hits like a truck. But until you get to that point, I think I might even have the oldest team saved still, because I don't ever update anything. So even if we go back to some of like my oldest teams, no, I don't have them saved anymore. Oh no, I do. Yeah, here it is. So look at this. This one runs 2 nukers. Why am I running 2 nukers? Because my Wukong was not in Savage, and he wasn't able to one-shot the enemy team. Yeah. Honestly, I think your biggest challenge on your account is going to be choice paralysis, because you have such a stacked roster, and you may not even really even know it, right? because yeah, this is a really really good roster of champions. Um, you've got more speed than my main account, Nick. But let's see. Okay, so and you're gold 5. I want to be like that's good. That is good. I cannot tell you how many people I've done takeovers for that are stuck in gold 3 even though this team is maybe suboptimal. You could look at it that way and say, whatever. You're still winning. You're still finding success. So keep that in mind. As long as you're staying gold 5, that's the important part in my eyes because you're keeping the tier bonuses. Um, wait, am I? Oh, sorry, you're gold 4. You want to make sure you're in gold 5. You want to make sure you're in gold 5 because you're missing 2% stats, right? This will apply everywhere. HP, attack, and defense. You want to make sure that you're getting those stats. And one of the comments we just saw in here from Cheap Vodka is indicating you really need to work on gear, and I agree with that sentiment. You've farmed a lot of speed gear, but we're a little short on a lot of the other really important gear sets. I see a lot of pinpoint. That's good. But Savage is very, very important. Let me see if I can kind of find a demonstration of it on my account. Usually I'm able to do a takeover and actually scrounge up some Savage pieces that people have hanging around. But yeah, I think if we can get you some Savage gear, that's really going to help your nukers. So it's kind of a bad example, but I feel like I could use like Rathalos compared to Wukong, but I don't think that's a good enough way to look at it. Yeah. So I want to be clear that I think at the current state of your account, you should be going stats over sets. You're already doing that, and I applaud that. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people will force feed really bad gear so they can get a Savage set. I don't want you to switch up from that and go that route. I really want you to utilize the gear you have right now and start working in the direction of eventually getting Savage gear. Always gear just started Fire Knight this week. Too much in game. Let's see where we're at. I don't even know what just happened. That was some kind of notification.
Shoot him, Kevin!
Let me pull that up real quick. Thank you for the follow. Thank you everybody for the follows that were from the raid. I was very flustered if you couldn't tell. I have like a really I call it imposter syndrome. I don't think that's the right way to put it, but I don't feel like I get super nervous when I talk to content creators, even ones that I've developed friendships with. Okay. I kind of forgot what we were talking about. The shoot him Kevin got me. I know we were talking about Savage gear and kind of the value of that, but I was gonna go look at your Fire Knight. Okay. I wouldn't farm on this difficulty. And I would. So the problem here is that I'm going to give you what I'm afraid is going to be too much. Right? because I want to improve your Fire Knight team. I want to improve your Dragon team. I want to improve this team and that team and blah, 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 right? We just gave you a new clan boss team to potentially use, which you don't need to. You have an unkillable team. Just swap out the Newt, right? Newt doesn't make sense in clan boss unkillable, but you could swap him out for a lot of different champions currently on your account. I don't really care who it is. I think you're going to find a very good damage output from most of these options. And furthermore, if you look at the website there, right? The one on Deadwood Jedi's website. So on Deadwood Jedi's website, I'm just going straight to Myth Fu, but if you go to Speed Tunes, you can sort by champions, right? So let's say you wanted to build, because you also had Roshkard, right? So we know you have Demitha, and we know you have Roshkard. I think there's a Myth Tower. I don't know the speeds on it, so I could be giving you a harder team to build. But yeah, here's Myth Tower. Easier speeds all across the board, but you need to have a debuff blocker and a cleanser, right? So you have so many options. Like I said, your biggest is difficulty is going to be choice paralysis at this point, right? Because you're going to be looking for all of these different teams. He is awesome. Yeah, he is. I'm not joking when I say I'm a really big fan. That was just a really special moment for me, straight up. That was really cool. My wife is laughing at me in the background. But you have a lot of different options for teams that you can build. My recommendation, and this is something that I'm seeing a lot of now, and you know what? I haven't even looked at masteries. Okay. But I am seeing like Ascension. You've got a lot of people half ascended, right? I would work one champion at a time. This is a personal recommendation. You know, it's not necessarily what everybody's gonna say. But I would work. Yeah, he's got Geo. I would work one champion at a time. And the reason that I say that is because you can just slowly kind of improve in different areas of the game. So, for example, even on my main account, I still do this to this day. I just built. Okay, that's not entirely true. Because I built a. I'm trying to build a Skinwalker's team using Bolent. And you'll see I'm working on his masteries right now. But I didn't bother to book him up. But I do have other champions that I'm using with him that I'm building up. And like Basher, I booked up and built up. But no masteries on Basher. Because right now, Bolent's masteries. Then masteries on Basher. Right? Exactly. New shiny Legos are going to keep you disorganized. But what you're going to find is if you are taking these steps of doing one champion at a time, you are going to get bored. You are going to run out of champions to level. So on my main account, before I pulled Bolent, I had nobody to rank up. To the point where I had, in fact, yeah, I've got 5 actual chickens, a feast, food, food, food. And that's not counting all the food that I already fed to build Bolent, Basher, and who's the other chick? Loriaka, right? Like I'm building all these teams, all these champions, and I still have food left over because I haven't had anyone to build in a while. I have so many chickens. I save them for fusions. Is really what it comes down to. That and when I do the champion trainings, I want to feed the 3 and 4 stars instead of the chickens because I don't get points for the chickens. So I've just built up a collection over time, and now I don't know what to do with them. But um, and this is my main account. So my free to play, it's the same thing. I'm a hoarder of chickens apparently. So 4-star chickens, not so much because I've built a few champions, but you'll see I've got 240 3-star chickens, and I've already got 2 5-star chickens. But we're not here to talk about that. I'm easily distracted. I would recommend one champion at a time because if you can do, and the free to play is an example of that because I'm doing one champion at a time. I just took about a month and a half to build my all rare team for Phantom Shogun's Grove. So this account is only a year old. I hit a year a few weeks ago, or days ago actually, and I have a stage 25 Phantom Shogun's Grove. It's all rares. I finished building that. The next champion that I built was Odin. And now that I've got Odin built, the next champion that I want to build is Teox. And for those of you that are new to my account and are like, what the hell? This guy's free to play for a year and he has Odin and Teox. Oh, and Turvold and Georgid and Sumi? I don't know. I'm lucky. But yes. This is my downfall. Grinding gear and getting the champs needed has been my struggle up until this year and last year. Now I'm getting to a good spot. Absolutely. Let me make a couple of suggestions for you. So, you're very, very low on gems. I would start saving your gems. I don't know what you're spending them on, but it's my opinion that gems are best suited as energy. If you're using them to buy shards, like ancient shards, I would not advise that. But you also have a ton of energy and you're way over cap. If we look at both of my accounts, the only reason I am over cap is because I played today and then I did your account takeover. I haven't spent this energy yet, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with this energy. And you don't need to go so far as to get RSL helper and do anything like that. I'm just sharing what I'm going to do, but you can also do the same thing with multi-battles. I'm going to farm something tonight. Maybe it's Spider. Maybe it, well, I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be, because I just unlocked it, I'm going to do Phantom Shogun's Grove, but I'm always spending my energy, and you'll see that gives me 11, which is a low number, right? The silver counts are pretty low, but until I started leveling gear up like crazy and gearing out Odin and all these champions, and specifically I geared out the all rare team for stage 25. When I geared them all out, that took up all my silver, but I'm usually around 30 to 50 million silver, I would say, on my free to play. Let's see. I just put 8k energy into Odin dungeon before it's gone, level 20. I just can't figure it out for some reason. Probably too slow. I mean, you're farming it on stage 30. So, oh, you said stage 21. It ramps up after stage 20. There's no reason you can't do stage 20. If you're doing stage 20 in 36 seconds, you're doing stage 20. Wait, I'm on my account. Hey, by the way, I farm on stage 20. That's why it's a 30-second team. Okay, minute 17 on stage 20, farm on stage 20. Nothing wrong with this. I don't think you need the accuracy. I don't think you need the Godseeker. I think you need to bring your Seer if she's well built. Because she's going to cleanse off those block damage buffs. And I want to warn you about one thing too. And the reason I'm going to say this is because I'm seeing Gurgo in a lot of your stuff. Don't be swayed by It's very contradictory. I'm doing an account takeover, but I'm going to tell you not to be swayed by content creators. Gurgo just got buffed. There's a lot of videos out there about how good Gurgo is. I have not watched them yet. But don't just shoehorn champions in there because people told you they're good. Gotcha. You're testing him out. That's fine. I just want to make sure that you are conscientious of the fact that it's very, very easy to get caught up in the hype train. And I've done this many times where I've went and built a new champion or like a special champion, and they were not, they didn't do, I had, they weren't a massive improvement to the account. Because they may be an improvement in like really high-end arena or something like that, but maybe not as beneficial to me in my stage of arena where I don't need this really niche set of abilities, right? And so I'm not saying that that's a Gurgo or anything like that. I'm simply saying that there are I think there are better champions for a boss killer team than Gurgo. And so, like, if we do go back to my free to play now, let's kind of review what I'm doing here. Seer and Newt are my damage dealers. I'm putting block damage to, or block buffs to prevent the block damage from going out. And then I have a cleanser to cleanse the stun, and then I have a speed aura in all battles, and that is my fastest aura in all battles. And therefore, that's why he's there. And so if I run this team, it's not always a 30-second. Yeah, and thank you, Vodka. So Vodka said in Twitch and kind of reassured my thought, or re-established my thought here a little bit, that good champions in bad gear are going to be less effective than weaker champions that you have built properly. It's going to take you time to get those new champions to be replacements. If you watch Ash's content, he has really great videos on how to like choose your next champion and whatever. There's a term that he uses, which is something over replacement, I think he says. I can't remember the exact terminology, but basically the way I think of it is, what is this champion doing for me that's better? So on my free to play, I did get Odin, just like you did. And I have a stunner in Armands, and I had a decreased defense champion in Deacon. So what does Odin do for me? Well, he puts them both into one package. And at the very least, he's a better decreased defense champion than Odin, or than Deacon, because he brings more to the table. And I don't have any other legendary decreased defense champion, AoE ones, right? So that is his role now. That's what I use him as. He's my decreased defense champion that also brings a stun, and I use him everywhere now. But I had to think about, how was he going to improve my team? And you'll see, like, if most of us, if we pull a Teox on a free-to-play account, that's our next 6-star. But I don't really have the pieces around him yet. Same thing with Turvold. I don't have the gear for Turvold right now. What do I need more? Right? Well, I need support, or I need to get gear, or I need to improve the gear that I have so that I can perhaps squeeze together some builds, right?
Shoot him, Kevin!
Thank you for the follow. So, I found it. I made it. There we go. That's better. Okay. I've been trying to find that one. Yeah. I'm relatively new on Twitch, guys. I've streamed on Twitch for a long time, but it's what is more important to your account in the moment, right? For example, I might be better off leveling Thor before Teox and Turvold, because Teox can activate my Thor and Hydra, right? So it's not an easy process. You really need to think and kind of figure it out. But the reason I'm saying all this is if we go back to this team, you want a boss killer and a wave killer. Now, maybe he is what you think your wave killer is, but he's not built like a wave killer, right? We've got accuracy on the chest. That means crowd control. That doesn't, for a nuker, you want high base stat for whatever nuke that they're going to do, right? Unless they're enemy max HP, like we talked about earlier. So my nuker is Sun Wukong, right? He's got, this is the free-to-play account, he's got 5,600 attack, value over replacement. Thank you, Skydoodle. 5,600 attack, almost 100% crit rate, leave me alone, vodka, and then 276% crit damage, right? So, oh wait, that was ironic. No, I was on the right account. Yeah, okay. And so Gergo, if we run this team, like we can run this team, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're on stage 20. And this is what you can do. In fact, I highly recommend you do this and just run your team, but analyze it. I'll take it off 2 times speed. So first things first, your Odin is super fast, but you've got him, and I don't know if you like did the ordering on this, but you opened up with his nuke, which is fine, but you could have also stunned everybody here, right? She could have buffed everybody there. All right, so Gergo crowd controlled everybody. You have Odin on the team. This is redundant, right? Odin can stun them, so freezing them doesn't do anything, and he doesn't do any damage, so they're all still alive. If we go back to my team very, very quickly. And I'm on stage 25, right? Ignore her taking multiple turns there. So that Hex is spreading that enemy max HP damage, and then Seer kills them all. Right, so now they're a non-factor. I don't have to worry about their kits, and now I'm just killing the boss. And when he goes to put the block damage on himself, he's under block buffs. So it's not going to land. And so that's why I'm bringing Ugo in this fight. And so every piece of the 5-man team has a role they serve. Boss killer, Newt. Block buffs and decreased defense, Ugo. Aura, Rabbit. Cleanse, Mithrala. Wave killing, Seer. And the reason I pick Seer over Sun Wukong, who would actually be just as effective, is because she'll steal all of the block damages. So when you look at your team, I'm sorry, I'll let this finish out for you. What are the roles of the champions that you're putting in there? What role is Gergo serving for you? What role is Odin serving? What role is Tuanorok serving? What role is Godseeker serving? Does that make sense, Grizzly? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we've done... I apologize. I'm going to waste a little bit of your energy here, but that felt like it was going to take forever. And I want to move on to Hydra. Now, one thing I would say that you probably lack more than anything else, and I'm going to take a look. Is Provoke, which obviously you have a Harima. What is his Provoke? It's on an A1, 50% chance. Okay. I like Angar as a provoker for you to consider. You've already got him built. Because there is a percent chance that he does it for 2 turns instead. And that's a high percent chance. A 2-turn provoke really opens up the Hydra for you. Yeah, but he's really speed accuracy. You just want him to take a lot of turns. You could put him in Relentless if need be. You don't have to. Don't shoehorn that in, but try and just get speed and accuracy. You want him to be fast. I haven't really looked at your speeds. Usually I gauge my speeds off of Arbiters. So, Odin went first on your team. So yeah, you're doing it. Did I see, by the way? Action, Night Rev. Yeah. This is a really good combo. I'm going to show you something before I log off. Especially with Kaimar, you have a really good dragon team, most likely. Probably one that can go a lot faster than 3 minutes. And yeah, way more effective than this. I'm going to give you an idea for a team, but I kind of want you to be the one to maybe theory craft it a little bit and play around and figure it out. But let's talk Hydra. So you did 8.22 million, which, by the way, is totally fine. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to try and figure out how to kind of... We'll go to the free-to-play. All right. So the reason I'm swapping over to my free-to-play account is to show you what I use in my Hydra team. I'll do it on normal here. Newt on this team is replaceable, by the way. So this could be whoever your best damage dealer is for a Hydra. It's most likely going to be your Newt, but there are options there for sure. Oh shoot, you're not moderated on Twitch. Yeah, hey, remind me to mod you afterwards, because I'm not going to figure it out right now. Oh no, I banned the wrong guy. Maybe I didn't. Okay. They're both guilty. Cool. Okay. All right, let's go back. Well, okay. So what I want to do here is make sure that I'm explaining the concepts here for you for Hydra. Okay. Right. We've talked about a lot about roles so far. So Wixwell is my provoker. That is it. Right? This is not this is not a Yannicka Wixwell team. This is not a cheese team. This is my free-to-play account, okay? Sorry, not insulting the Wixwell team, but I'm not going to build that team on any of my accounts. Wixwell is just my provoker. So this could be Angar for you, right? Rabbit is my aura and gives me increased speed. Mithrala is my cleanser and my hexer. You need to bring hex. We're going to talk about why. Newt is my damage. Godseeker is my reviver because this is a long fight and my rabbit dies a lot because I don't have him built tanky enough because I have him built for a lot of damage. And then Ugo is by far one of the best decreased defense champions that you can have in Hydra. For regular early, like mid-game accounts that you're just looking to put block buffs and decrease defense, Ugo is perfect. She brings a mini cleanse. She brings a little bit of healing. She brings leech on her A1. Ugo is so good in Hydra. I highly recommend that you build her for that. But let me kind of show you the concept of this team. The reason I'm using my account is because, and I'll build one on your account too, but I kind of want you to see the concepts first. So right out the gate, we have Hex on everybody, right? Then I'm going to give my guy's turn meter and increase accuracy. Wixwell's my provoker. I'm just provoking with him. I just A1'd with my Wixwell because I needed to provoke that head. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Godseeker's just here, you know, whatever. Again, Godseeker's just there because I need a reviver. And I would prefer to not bring Godseeker and bring another nuker. Unfortunately, my rabbit still tends to die, and that sucks. So now I have my enemy max HP nuker, right? We talked about the weaknesses here, and I'm going to prove that to you right now. You see how he did exactly 137, 224, or 284 every single hit? That's the cap. I can't do any more. This is the highest. This head has more HP than the others. That's the most damage I can do to a head with my Newt. Plain and simple. And so, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier when it comes to enemy max HP. That's the proof in the pudding about the fact that you can only do so much, right? So she would have cleansed that. She was feared. That's fine. But it's the roles that they're filling that I want you to understand, right? Because I have Hex on this head, I can target it. Because I have Provoke on this head, these buffs stay up. Because I have block buffs out, if there was a poison cloud, it wouldn't land. When this guy does his ally protect and reflect damage, it's not going to land because I have block buffs on everybody, right? In fact, this head steals, and they're under block buffs. We've got two different counterattacks out there. If this head steals those buffs, let's see it. It's going to take a turn. Look, all my new buffs are gone, but they were blocked. Right? This is why block buffs is so good. You'll see the ally protect went out. He casted ally protect on all three of these heads and a reflect damage on himself. Only this head got the ally protect, right? So we kind of talked about the core concepts that you're looking for when you're doing that. Let's talk about the issues in the team that you previously used. So we're going to take a look at that real quick. So Loki, I assume, is your block buffs guy, right? But Ugo's still better than him in that regard. Harima is your provoker, but it's on a long cooldown. And her damage was really good. But there's other stuff that you're kind of missing. Like, it would decrease defense as Odin. Okay. Does Tuanarok have Hex? I can't remember. No, she's also your block buffs, yeah. Tuanarok is good as a black buffs champion. So if I was building your Hydra team, the first thing I'm going to think about is aura. What aura do I need most? Now, I'm usually looking for speed or maybe increased defense or accuracy, right? So more than likely, you're going to go accuracy just based on the ones that are available to you. Marinix, yeah, I've seen Marinix get some consideration a lot lately. The owl is really good for you, and I run the owl on my second team because she brings an AoE decreased speed and an AoE leech. This reduces some of the healing that you need. Also extending buffs on the A1 and giving you increased accuracy and a block situationally block debuffs. Mostly you're just getting the increased accuracy there. It's really important to keep in mind if you're bringing increased accuracy to, you don't have to worry about accuracy that much. I mean, it's pretty obvious to say that, but to think about it, right? You can run a little bit lower level of accuracy on your champions if you can keep that buff up all the time. And that can mean more damage output. That can be more speed, more of every other stat that you're sacrificing to keep these really high accuracies. I also want to teach you real quickly about the raid stages tool. So Hell Hades has a really, really cool thing. I just Googled raid stages tool. This is the first thing that comes up. If you go to Hydra, choose an encounter, we'll just pick a random rotation, and normal, these are in orange what you need to hit. So if you read right here, the numbers in orange for resistance and accuracy represent the recommended value to negate the opposite effect. To ensure your debuff lands, you should have your accuracy as the number on the resistance row that is in orange. So if we look at resistance, let's find the highest. So 165 accuracy is the most you need for normal Hydra. 165, that's it. That's pretty easy to hit, right? And so, yes, you can, if you're capable, you can gear towards your future goals. But if you're not capable, then gear to the present. Gear to what you're trying to do now, right? I need my buffs to land, or my debuffs to land. I'm going to shoot for that accuracy. If you can go higher, yes, but not at the sacrifice of other stats because your gear is really limited. You just don't have good gear. So that's something to keep in mind, right? Ninja's really good clan boss damage. You see that I already like using Newt. You have some of the champions that I would use, but I also want to point out a flaw in your team. Well, no, you do have block buffs, so I guess it's not that bad. You have 2 block buffers in Loki and 2 on Rock. My concern is if they steal this block damage, you do nothing for like how many turns, right? So I would keep that in mind as something you want to be cautious of. So I'm going to assume Tuanarok's aura is all battles, but I would go Tuanarok for sure. I would still bring Ugo in the team if you could. It's double dipping a little bit, but Tuanarok brings other value. And I know you had an Ugo, or at least I thought I saw an Ugo. Yeah. So, like, I would bring Ugo. I really like the Owl in Hydra, especially in the early stages. I don't really like poisons. Okay. we didn't talk much about the Fearhead, but Inquisitor Shamael is really, really solid in early game Hydra to get you around those fears, right? And that's going to pump a lot of turn meter into Honorok, who's going to give you speed buffs and stuff, right? Probably Godseeker is insurance, but you have a lot of healing between those two there. Provoker. I would bring Angar. Angar has a chance at a 2-turn provoke. Molly has the same thing, Molly, and Molly is my favorite provoker outside of my Archer Queen. We've got block buffs, we've got provoke, we've got fear. Yeah, I would probably just bring maybe another support, or you could bring Newt if you wanted to. Odin does also have that buff strip too, and enemy max HP damage as well, which can come in handy. But what really I'm trying to touch on is kind of the principles of a Hydra team, and kind of making sure that you're checking those boxes. Do I have a provoker? Do I have a cleanser? Oh, we don't really have a true cleanser, but between Ugo and Tuanorok, you have kind of a mini cleanse. Let me see where you're at. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing and get Mithrala as soon as you can. One thing I would try to do, because your roster is so strong, see if you can squeeze out 5 million up here. Because your clan is doing great job. Great work, right? If you can get that hard, even the minimum chest, if you can squeeze out 5 million, and then make sure you squeeze out 6 million on normal, then you're going to have a chance at 4 Mithrala fragments every week. That's going to make that just boom, 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 right? And getting Mithrala is very, very important because we don't have a Hexer. Let's see. Like, we didn't bring a Hexer, and that means that one head can't be targeted unless it's under Hex. Now, you do have Shayak, who has a lot of what we just talked about in the kit. So if you wanted to bring Shayak, you could, right? That's you get turn meter fill, you get block buffs. Oh, he's your, yeah, sorry. It really, because I'm like designed to only focus on the champions up here, I forget that you have like a whole roster down here of like half ascended champions. Shayak I would have as my lead. Because it's speed in all battles. And that's a really good aura. Block buffs, hex, a lot of the stuff that you want. I would still bring Ugo. Redundancy and block buffs is not a bad thing. And it's a provoker, or a decreased defense. I probably wouldn't bring 2 Honorak now. If you remember, you can run multiple teams, right? Let's see. And the rest of it's kind of the same, right? Angar is going to be your provoker. So we have Hex, we have block buffs, we have 2 block buffs, we have a provoker. You've got damage dealer in Newt. You could bring Odin. Ninja is an option that you could bring too. Wait, you do have a cleanser, don't you? No, she's a... No. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to double check that. I've never had Venus. If you ever get Cupidus, Venus and Cupidus are going to be a solid team for you. Um, Not quite the cleanser, but you do have HP burns in Venus if you wanted to go that route. Let's see. I can feel myself getting tired, and I know I'm missing some obvious answers here. There's your cleanser, by the way. Wither is a cleanser, so you could do Wither, but Wither doesn't bring much else but besides cleansing and healing. Yeah. All right. Block buffs. Oh yeah, I still think Shamael should be in the conversation. And probably Newt. I really do like Newt. Um, he's not. I think Newt for a very early Hydra is really good at killing heads and letting you cycle out that damage on a dead head. So even the owl would be good. The owl is squishy, so you need to make sure that you're bringing protection for her. Or you're maybe building her a little tankier than you might other people. But Geo, by the way, I haven't mentioned him once, but Geo is very, very good in Hydra as well. The reflect damage is good. He places his HP burn, so you can put it through the poison cloud if it happens to come up. I know she's a monster in Hydra. I've just never used her, so it's really hard for me to give a critique on a champion. But my chat over in Twitch is telling me to really consider Venus, and I agree with that. I just don't. It's hard for me to like put puzzle pieces together that I don't have in my hands, if that makes sense. So I know we have been talking for a very, very long time. This is one of my longest account takeovers I've probably done. It's about 2 hours now that we've been doing this. I've thrown a lot at you. And one thing I'm always worried about when
Shoot him, Kevin!
Thank you for the follow, Lazy Beast. One of the things that I always worry about when I do these takeovers, I truly worry that I'm overwhelming or throwing too much in the general direction. But you have a great foundation. And I want to make that clear. I have said a lot of things, do this, do that, do this, do that. But things you have done great that other accounts don't do. Speed on boots, right? Even knowing how important accuracy is good. Again, I'm going to tell you straight up, I only have 2 champions in fact, I will show you. This is my main account. My main account. These are all the accuracy chests on my entire account. I can count those on probably 1, 2, 3, or no, I can just tell you 14 pieces of accuracy main stat chest on my main account. Yeah, build the Great Hall. Make sure you're prioritizing that. Get to gold 5. You're leaving 2% stats on the floor, right? But and the champions that I'm running these accuracy chests on are very specific. Like, I want to land debuffs, right? I want to show you something really cool that people always are so surprised by. So my Geomancer was a big addition to my main account, and he was part of my Iron Twins and needed 500 accuracy. So my Geomancer has 616 accuracy and he does not have an accuracy chest. Whoops. Or he did not. I may have put one on him since then. Let's double check. Yeah, he's in an HP percent chest, right? So that's an enormous amount of accuracy, and I'm not even running an accuracy chest. So I just want that. The reason I'm telling you this is so you can understand that there are other ways to get accuracy, and you don't just need to put a chest on them. Because for the particular build that he needed accuracy for, he had to take a hit. Well, if he doesn't have enough HP to survive a bunch of hits, what am I even doing, right? So high accuracy wasn't the play on him. Last thing I'm going to show you. This is a farm team for Dragon Hard. Calvalax, 2 Theodores. You have banners are best accuracy sources since chest gives way more stats. Exactly. Lazy Beast said it best in our Twitch chat. That banners are where you get your accuracy from. I completely agree with that. My Geo defense chest relentless 500 plus accuracy. Yep. Yeah, it's been really fun, and no worries, the information has not at all been overwhelming. I just focused on Dragon for way too long and Clan Boss, but finally been branching out better stuff. Yes. I want to show you this Dragon team before you go, because I think you can build something like this with your Kymar, and you have Theodore and Calvalax. It might be a little bit slower, but it'll be highly effective. I'm glad, Lazy Beast. I'm glad that has been helpful for you. Also, feel free to hit up our Discord. You already are, because you had to go in there to add me to reach out to me for the account takeover. But so this actually took a little bit longer. I got a little bit of bad RNG on it. There we go. So that was 47 seconds. That felt like an eternity. I'm going to be honest with you. But that was only 47 seconds. The best I've done was 30 seconds with this team. But really solid team. And I'm going to run it one more time. Now, Lady of Ereth and Emic are cooldown refreshing. I don't have Kymar on this account. This is my main account. You have Kymar. Kymar can probably do this. Maybe he might need another cooldown refreshing champion, like a Renegade or the other Void rare that I can't remember right now. You can tell how tired I'm getting. I almost didn't stream tonight, but I had the takeover, so I'm glad you gave me a reason, because we got raided by Drock. Like, oh man, craziness. But look at how quickly I dispersed with a wave there, right? Using Theodore. Just awesome, awesome stuff. And these Theodores, no accuracy chests. Painkeeper, thank you, Painkeeper. This is the word I was looking for. We're getting a little bit of bad RNG on this second wave. I need to improve that a little bit. I think I just need to build my Calvalax better. But super fast farm team. If I set this to run auto over, not even overnight, but even just run auto on multi-battles. Boom, boom, boom. Right? That one was even longer. Got a little bit worse RNG. 52 seconds. Look at this. Great piece. We didn't talk too much about gear. Accuracy on an accuracy weapon with crit rate and crit damage for a champion that you're trying to get to land stuff, but also be 100% crit rate and crit capped, like a Newt, something along those lines. This is a great weapon for a Newt if you're looking to land his abilities, because you cannot get defense on a weapon, and you want defense as his main stat, right? But since you can't get it on a weapon, crit rate, crit damage, accuracy, it'd be better if it had speed too. Maybe we get lucky. We level it to 16 and we get speed as the last stat, right? But this can open up some builds. So keep that in mind when we're talking about gear, because we didn't have any time to get into the depths of gear. You're doing a great job. The other thing, the one final thing, as I keep saying, this will be the final thing. You're rocking a lot of crit rate gloves. Whoever your nuker, I want you to pick. This is your homework assignment. Pick your nuker. If it's Sun Wukong, let it be Sun Wukong. If it's Candy Fron, let it be Candy. Gurgo, let it be Gurgo. There's a video Drock just put out. I would recommend that. I haven't watched it yet, but I would recommend it. But let's say it's Sun Wukong. Figure this build out with crit damage gloves. If they're your primary nuker, I want them in crit damage gloves with a crit damage neck. And main stat chest. We go back over to my free to play, because again, this account is a little more closer to you than my main account. If we go Sun Wukong, main stat attack percent, triple roll on the crit rate, right? Notice that these don't match, but I do have Savage. I had to go really big crit rate stuff, right, in order to get that to work, and I even had to use a lesser Slayer neck to get not even 100% crit rate. And then what you're achieving for at the next level, if we look at the main account and we go to my Rotos. So Rotos is in 6-piece Merciless because I don't have the accessories, unfortunately. But almost 6,000 attack, pretty good HP, 300% crit damage, 100% crit rate. Looking for main stat on the chest, crit damage on the gloves, right? Like, you're always looking for crit damage on the gloves. You won't find, in fact, if we want to, sorry, I need to be in the gear filter, kind of talk about it again. When it comes to primary stats crit rate, even equipped, more than what I ran for accuracy, but I don't run a lot of crit rate stuff. Because if I want them to be 100% crit rate, I want them to have crit damage. And so you're looking for that better gear. Anyways, yeah, Elenarl is a poison exploder. I have talked far too long tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to take over your account. I'm going to go ahead and log out of your account now. Oh, that's what that beep was earlier. RSL helper crashed. Okay, cool. Well, let me do it this way then. All right, I'm off your account. You're welcome to go back and hop on your account. I hope that I was helpful for you today. I hope I was helpful to some of your clan members today as well. The reason I'm calling them out specifically is because he told me that they were very excited about watching the stream today. And so I thought that was really cool. I love seeing supportive clans. That's a big thing about me and my clan, is really trying to be supportive and help players get better and improve. That's why I became a content creator almost by accident, just making videos for my clan, and they started taking off. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Lazy. Well, okay. Thanks for the takeover, man. It was super fun and helpful. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Man, I've never been more embarrassed during an account takeover, because, like, I'm in the middle of talking about PvP, and one of, like, the top end PvPers raids me, and it's like, oh god, I'm gonna look like such an idiot in front of him. What's Twitch looking like here? Dude, how obvious was it that I geeked out? Was it, like, bad? I am gonna raid PJ once I'm done, man. Do you want me to? You telling me to? Are you telling me to end stream? Are you sick of watching me? Is that what's going on? It was a bit bad, yeah. All right. No, we are gonna end stream. We're gonna go ahead and raid PJ. Let me set this up. Uh, Vodka, can you drop a link to his stream in my chat on YouTube, please? We are gonna go ahead and raid PJ. I'm super excited about this. PJ, I'm a big fan of PJ too. I've been watching him a lot. I've been on a podcast with him a couple times. He's a great guy. If you have not followed him yet, please consider doing it. But this is going to be the biggest raid that I've ever done. So let's do it. Here we go. Where did it go? Did it not do it? Oh, I'm already rating him. Okay. Raid now. There we go. Okay.
I was lurking. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I gotta lurk somewhere else now. I'm lurking on my own stream. Oh my goodness. How you doing? If it's not following the roadblock, go check